channel tremendously. And what does it cost you? A flick of the finger. Come on, people. Now, y'all, today we're going to be following up on a previous story about your girl Ilhan Omar in the great state of Minnesota. She was linked to one of the biggest frauds, the biggest COVID era frauds, probably the biggest from that era, over $250 million. As you saw from the coming up, she lent her support to a network called Feeding Our Future. I think I have that right. And yeah, it turned out to be a tremendous scam that stole hundreds of millions of dollars from the United States government. So we're going to show you her connection. You're actually going to see that she was promoting this fraud using her official capacity. And now you're also going to see that there have been dozens of arrests. People are still going down for this. So after the leader went down, some people thought, oh, okay, well, the FBI, they're done with this. But no, the FBI is continuing to go after more and more people. Now, I'm not saying Omar's on the radar, y'all. I'm not saying that. But in this video, you are going to see that she has a connection to this whole thing. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. But before we do, y'all, make sure you take care of your money. I'm not going to make this a long one, y'all. Go to Paralegal, PARALEGOLD.com, or call 844-651-8334, 844-651-8334. If you have $50,000 to $100,000 or more in your retirement, protected from inflation, protected from monetary debasement, you're about to retire. Make sure your money's still there and it's still worth something by investing at least some of it in gold. Talk to our partners at Augusta Precious Metals. Go click the link now, get the free information, and protect your precious retirement.
Another suspect is behind bars tonight, facing federal charges in the $250 million Feeding Our Future fraud scheme. The suspect captured at the airport before boarding a flight to Dubai. Lou Raguse is here with our top story. Lou?
Julie, we told you last week how the federal raid of a St. Paul nonprofit signaled that the U.S. Attorney's Office is not done charging new suspects in this case. Today they said that as soon as news of that raid broke, Kibo Dar booked an urgent international flight. Kibo Dar is now the 71st person to be charged in the $250 million Feeding Our Future pandemic meal fraud case. Court records show she claimed to serve 1 million meals to children out of this office in a business center on East Hennepin Avenue and collected $2.4 million in taxpayer money. But federal investigators believe her meal site, Northside Wellness, was fake and that she only spent less than $2,000 on food. According to the criminal complaint, Dar's case included all the telltale signs of the sprawling fraud. She wrote checks to Hadith Ahmed, a Feeding Our Future employee who's already pleaded guilty, and says checks like those were bribes. There are emails Dar sent to Amy Bach, the former executive director of Feeding Our Future, convicted by a jury this year, including meal count sheets the FBI says are fake. In those meal counts, the complaint says that by April 2021, Dar claimed to be serving about 40,000 meals to children every week. After Bach was convicted, it was unclear whether the feds intended to charge any additional suspects in the case. But late last week, the FBI raided a St. Paul nonprofit, New Vision Foundation, signaling they weren't finished. As news of that raid spread, prosecutors say Dar booked a flight to Dubai, set to leave 3 days later. The FBI arrested her at the airport before she could board. In court, the prosecutor said they informed Dar in April that she was one of the new targets of their investigation. They told the judge they believe she tried to escape, thinking charges are coming soon. Now in court, Dar's lawyer said that she was just traveling to visit her sick mother. But then she got caught in a lie, claiming that she hadn't traveled overseas since 2022. The prosecutors then pulled out her passport right in the courtroom and showed that she had been traveling regularly since then to several countries. She is now in the Sherburne County Jail. Julie?
Every time you think the story can't take another twist, it does.
Seems like it.
Any idea if there are more people that are going to be facing charges? Any indications?
Absolutely there are. We just don't know a number and how close the FBI is to filing those charges yet. But yeah, they are going to make another round of charges sometime here.
All right. Thank you, Lou.
So here in this Fox News report, it says a $250 million fraud scheme that exploited a federally funded children's nutrition program during the pandemic has been described by FBI Director Kash Patel as one of the worst in Minnesota history. The FBI director told Fox News in a statement that 70 people in Minnesota have been indicted for their role in the sprawling Feeding Our Future fraud scheme during the pandemic, which exploited a federal program designed to reimburse states for the cost of feeding children. Conspirators falsely claimed to have served millions of meals during the pandemic, but instead used the money for personal gain. Of the individuals indicted, 38 have pleaded guilty, so dozens of guilty verdicts already, FBI officials told Fox News Digital. More than a dozen of the individuals are awaiting criminal trial, with the next trial beginning in August. Quote, stealing over $250 million from hungry kids during a pandemic to fund mansions and luxury cars is as shameless as it gets. That's what Kash Patel said. He added, I'm proud of the FBI and our partners for dismantling this web of corruption, holding dozens accountable, and sending a clear message. If you exploit the most vulnerable, we will find you and bring you to justice. So now, y'all, I told you that there is a connection between this massive fraud, $250 million, and your girl, Ilhan Omar. Now, I'm about to jump right into this report about her connection to this fraud, her promotion of this fraud, and also another instance where her husband is accused to have defrauded somebody. So yeah, y'all, she has kind of a lot of questionable behavior that she may be called to account for. As I'm kind of scanning the news, I'm seeing things that pop up about Miss Omar. People say that she married her brother. I did look into it, y'all. I haven't found any hard evidence on it. You know, the funny thing about Omar is, like, you can never find hard evidence on anything. Like, I'm going to give y'all two examples real quick of events that she's mighty close to or adjacent to, but like you just, like, you can't make it stick on her. You know what I mean? So let's take a look at the first one. Did y'all know that the biggest COVID-era fraud, or one of the biggest COVID-era frauds, was a $200 million fraud called Feeding Our Families? And $12 million of those dollars went to a Somali restaurant in Ilhan Omar's area called Safari. Now, if you look at your screen, you will see that Omar not only did promo for Safari, she actually did promo for this program, this $12 million program, this Feeding Our Families program, right? Now, you know the problem? It was a scam. It was a fraud. I'm not just saying that. Like, the person who ran this program has now been convicted. 5 to 6 weeks of testimony, and he was convicted in 5 hours, y'all. 5 hours of deliberations. Let's take a look. Now, I'm not saying Ilhan Omar was at all involved. In fact, she was not directly involved in this. But isn't it curious that she's calling everybody else dumb while she's out here promoting a $12 million scam and maybe doesn't know it, right? Like, was she the useful idiot on this?
She know.
For them to pull off this $12 million scam?
Don't let her fucking fool you. She knew. She get her share.
I'm Rena Sargentopoulos. We're following some breaking news right now. In the last hour, a jury has found the ringleaders of the largest pandemic AIDS scam in the country guilty on all charges. Lou Goose joins us now live from court with the latest. Lou.
Rita, the jury needed just 5 hours of deliberation. That is 1 hour for each week of testimony they heard during this trial for Amy Bach and Salim Saeed. Bach, the alleged mastermind of the Feeding Our Future fraud scheme, she's the former executive director. Evidence in the trial showed that she signed and submitted every single count for reimbursement, certifying that the number of meals claimed to be served to children was correct. The evidence also showed that Bach signed every reimbursement check, all the millions and millions of dollars paid out to these meal sites. Salim Saeed was one of the first and biggest participants in the fraud scheme. He used to own Safari Restaurant in South Minneapolis. Once they joined the meal program in April 2020, right at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, within weeks, they were claiming to serve 6,000 kids every single day. Both of these defendants took the witness stand, and both of them told stories that the jury did not believe. They convicted these two on a total of 28 counts, including wire fraud, conspiracy, federal programs bribery, and more.
Or what about this situation where Ilhan Omar's campaign was somehow able to legally transfer $3 million to her husband? Okay, the news report says it was done legally. Okay, we'll accept that. But then, after that, the husband gets involved in some kind of cannabis investment, and now they're saying that he scammed them. Now, was that Ilhan Omar? That's why, I say she's like adjacent. Like, it's not that she's doing it directly herself, but she's kind of around scammers or people who are accused and being convicted of scamming, right? So let's take a look at that report, and I'll let you draw your own conclusions.
The congressional race between Ilhan Omar and Don Samuels got some extra heat this week with accusations of fraud against a business partly owned by Representative Omar's husband. Fox 9's Corn Hogger joins us now in the newsroom after digging into what's behind this legal fight. All right, Corn, what is Omar's connection to these accusations?
Karen, it's nothing directly. Her husband is Tim Minette, and his consulting firm legally got about $3 million from her 2020 campaign. Now he's a business partner in a few business ventures that are involved in lawsuits claiming his companies have made money disappear. In the case of Tim Minette, whose LinkedIn page shows he was a partner in the E Street Group along with Will Haler, there's no publicly known criminal investigation, but there may be something behind the scenes.
We have connected with federal law enforcement on this. I believe that they're looking into it as we speak.
Ned Horsted is the CEO of a South Dakota cannabis company that gave Haler and Minette's company $3.5 million to kickstart investments, but ended up with about $1.8 million back and a court judgment, an IOU for the other $1.7 million. Omar's office tells me she has no involvement in any business ventures, and the situation reeks of political desperation. Horsted says he never dealt with Omar and didn't even have direct conversations with Minette, but he's not convinced they're unaware.
If you have a two-person business and one of them is a spouse of a member of Congress, it seems suspicious to say the least that they never knew about $3.5 million that came into the bank account. They never knew that 1.7 went missing.
The lawyers for Minette and Haler say they absolutely did not intend to defraud anyone in that cannabis business or in a winery deal that's also the subject of a civil lawsuit. Haler referred me to the settlement in the cannabis deal and said the winery business has had some successes, but it's still a struggle. Corn Hogger, Fox 9.
These are just two, right? These are just two instances. There are more, but I'm not going to belabor the point. I just felt some kind of way with her calling people idiots and dumb and so on and so forth. I didn't think that was right. At the time, I wasn't as bothered, but I'm bothered by it, y'all. So what do y'all think? Do y'all think Ilhan Omar is the only smart one in the room? She just happens to accidentally be hanging around people who are being convicted of scamming and defrauding the American public and who are being accused of scamming and defrauding people. Is it like she just can't get away from these people, right? She's the clean one, and she just can't get away from them. Or, what do y'all think? I'd like to hear what y'all have to say in the comments. Let me know in the comments below. But before you do, please stop, share this video out. Hit the share button, put in somebody's email, text message.